صل على محمد وآله.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء وسيد المرسلين وحبيب إله العالمين أبي القاسم محمد. وعلى أهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين المكرمين الغرر الميامين، سيما بقية الله في الأراضين وحجته على الخلائق أجمعين، سيدنا وإمام زماننا وصاحب نعمتنا وولي أمرنا مهدي هذه الأمة وطاووس أهل الجنة الحجة بن الحسن العسكري فداه أرواح العالمين. Brothers and sisters, Assalamu alaikum jami'an wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Let's address the elephant in the room, if you like, and offer congratulations on Nowruz, a day which has been mentioned in the narrations of the Ahlul Bayt as a festivity, as an occasion where we mark, at least in the northern hemisphere, the beginning of spring. It's a different story down here, and really it's quite the opposite. I'm not exactly sure whether people should celebrate 6 months from now, whether it has to be at the beginning of spring in this part of the world, but as I said, it's nonetheless a celebration that has been marked by the Ahlul Bayt. And narrations tell us that it is an occasion in which we pray for success. It is a time of visiting friends and family, exchanging gifts. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that, though of course these customs are not exclusive to Nowruz. To give gifts to people that you love is very much a deed that is encouraged by the Ahlul Bayt. One narration says that exchanging gifts creates and fosters love. The Ahlul Bayt themselves would exchange gifts, often in the form of perfume. And so there's nothing wrong with it. In fact, it's very much encouraged that we do these things throughout the year. No restriction to the day of Nowruz. To visit family and friends, to maintain good relations with our kin is also something that's highly encouraged, and again, is not exclusive to the occasion of Nowruz. But to those who celebrate it, by adhering to these encouraged deeds and by praying to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for success, to you I'd like to extend my heartfelt congratulations, inshallah, and pray to the Almighty Allah for an ever blissful, ever successful year in the coming 12 months as we embark on this new year. Having said that, I think one of the most important things that people do when they mark the end of the year and the beginning of a new calendar year is that it's a very good opportunity for us to examine our achievements, what we've done, whether we've been able to reach the goals that we set for ourselves last year, to make commitments and resolutions in order to improve ourselves spiritually, financially, physically. This is something that people normally do because it's a very sobering moment if you think about it. People celebrate the new year, but what it really is a moment of reflection. Essentially, what's happened is that I've lost another year of my life. This is time that went so quickly from last year to this year. It feels like a blink of an eye, doesn't it? If you celebrate the Nowruz, I'm sure you can remember exactly where you were last year. Perhaps some of the highlights of your activities, who you visited, who came to visit, what gifts you got, what gifts you bought for others. And so, because you remember quite distinctly the last year's Nowruz, you tend to reflect on how fast time passed. And that's a very sobering reminder of the fact that our lives just keep going, the wheels keep spinning, and although we'd like to think that we're still young, we still have time, but the fact of the matter is this is one more year that we put behind us. And again, that makes us think. It makes us think about how we want to improve on the next year, how I want to be a better person. Those with a materialistic persuasion will think about how to make more money, how to achieve material success. Those with a more spiritual leaning mentality, they'll think about how to improve themselves on a spiritual level, on a personal level. How do I become a better person? And there's nothing wrong with trying to combine the two together and say, how do I become a better human being in all aspects of my life? Whether it be materialistic success or spiritual upliftment and improvement. That's a good thing. And on that note, on the note regarding making New Year's resolutions and commitments, I just want to spend a few minutes to talk a little bit about this, to help you make the right resolutions, and to help you make resolutions that you can stick to help you make commitments. And again, this is not exclusive to Nowruz. Those of you who do not celebrate the Nowruz, that's okay. This is relevant to all of you. It's relevant to me personally, and it's relevant to my dear brothers and sisters here tonight. To make a commitment that you can stick to. How do you do that? Well, let's start with the definition of a commitment. What's a commitment? A commitment is you drawing the lines. It is about you making a pledge. You saying that I want to lose 3 kilos, or drop 2 sizes, or get into such and such college, or graduate with flying colors. So you have to be very specific, number one. Number two, it's a pledge. Don't remember, it's not a wish. You're not signing up to the Make-A-Wish Foundation. You're not saying, I hope such and such happens. I hope I lose 3 kilos. Well, by hoping, you'll achieve literally nothing. So the difference between hoping for something to happen and an actual resolution is that when you're making your New Year's resolutions, you're saying, I will make this happen no matter what. Now let's try and zoom in a little bit. No matter what. Let's define that. What does that mean? It means that no matter what the challenges, no matter what obstacles come your way, no matter what problems you have to face, you'll make this happen. If you have to wake up early and stay up late, if you have to go and exercise for an hour a day, if you have to change your routine, if you have to change your entire lifestyle, you will do that. That's what a commitment literally means. We all know that. I think the problem isn't in knowing the dictionary definition of a commitment. The problem is recognizing what the term no matter what means. Let me let you in on a little secret. No matter what means that regardless of who happens to mock and ridicule you, I don't care if not just my friends and my family and those within my inner social circle. No, If the entire world mocks me for waking up at 6 in the morning to exercise for an hour a day, I don't care who says what, I'll do it. I'll make it happen. Why? Because I've got a wedding coming up in 6 months' time. I want to drop to a more reasonable dress size, and I want to look good in front of my friends and family. I'll make it happen. I don't care what happens. Right? That's how people think. That's how a reasonable person, someone who makes a genuine commitment and a real pledge and an actual resolution, that's how they'll think. If you're a serious person who wants serious results, that's how you think. So, one of the most important commitments that any of us can make, brothers and sisters, and that's why you're all here tonight. You're not here because you're trying to lose weight. You're not here because you want to graduate with flying colors and good marks. The reason you are sitting inside of a masjid on a day like this, as opposed to being out there, God forbid, getting drunk, as opposed to celebrating like there's no tomorrow, as opposed to getting lost in the jungle like a lot of other people. The reason you're here tonight is because you want to be a better person, not just overall, but specifically because you want to be a better human being with regards to your relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This majlis, this gathering, is earmarked for the commemoration of the martyrdom of Fatima al-Zahra. And it's that name that's brought me here. It's not the barbecue outside. It's not the great way that I happen to dress most of the time. It's none of that. It's not so that you can socialize, because I'm sure you can find 1,000 other places where you can socialize with people of your same mentality, race, ethnicity, what have you. You're here because you want to be a closer individual to Allah, someone who resembles more closely Fatima al-Zahra, someone who can guarantee success both in this world as well as in the hereafter. Let me tell you something about the Ahlul Bayt, brothers and sisters. And this is something that most of us don't get to really think about. The Ahlul Bayt are the most successful people in the history of mankind. And I'm talking about success in every conceivable way. I said this last week for those of you who were here. I said, if you think about it, there's no one who's had a bigger impact on humanity than Fatima al-Zahra. Someone who lived for a mere 18 years. And I mentioned the example of a beam of light. Just a disappearing flash of light. That's what she looks like. That's what her life looks like when looked at from the lens of the progress of humanity for thousands and thousands and thousands of years. 18 years, and yet look at the impact she left on this world. Fatima al-Zahra, the mistress of the women of the world, Sayyidatu Nisa al-Alameen. These are the words of the Prophet of Allah. Sayyidatu Nisa al-Alameen, the mistress, the feminine form of master, of the women of the world, min al-awwaleen wal-akhirin, from the very beginning of days to the very end. That's who she is. So the reason you're all here tonight is because you want to get to know her a little better. You want to get to imitate and emulate her more closely in your life so that you could be as successful as she was. You could be as important as she was. You could be as great. Well, not as great as she was, but at least to be on the same track as Fatima al-Zahra. Now, again, back to the question of commitments. Why is it that most of us, while we really want to be like the Ahlul Bayt, to live like the Ahlul Bayt, and this is a hadith, and this is a dua rather, that I encourage you all to memorize and to recite in your qunut, in your prayers, and on special occasions when you're doing dua. Remember this. Allahumma ahyi hayata Muhammadin wa ali Muhammad wa amitni mamata Muhammadin wa ali Muhammad. Oh Allah, make me live the life of Muhammad and his household, and give me the same death as Muhammad and his household. The most glorious life is that of the Prophet and his family, and the most noble death is that of the Messenger and his family. Right? That slogan about live like Ali, die like Hussein, I really don't like it, because it somehow suggests that Ali's life was better than Hussein's, or that Hussein's death was more noble than Ali. No, let's not do that. Let's say it like they did. The life of the Prophet and his family is glorious and noble like no other, and their death is also glorious and noble and perfect like no other. Right? So why is it that a lot of us fail? We're unable to live up to those standards. Why? Again, it goes back to what it means to make a commitment, brothers and sisters. Pay close attention to these words coming from this insignificant brother of yours and this speck in the vastness of the cosmos, so that inshallah tonight when we leave as new people, as someone who's just been born, someone with a heightened level of awareness of the world around us, and therefore better human beings. So, the reason that most people fail is that instead of making a commitment, they're making a wish. I wish I would like Fatima to Zahra. You're not making a commitment. Why? Because as I said, making a commitment means that no matter what happens, you stick to the pledge that you've made. That's what it means. Let me be more specific. If the entire world mocks you for wearing a hijab, for praying, for keeping a beard, for dressing up in an honorable way as a Muslim does, for leaving everything aside and going to perform your prayers when the time is right. If the entire world, not just your co-workers, your colleagues, your classmates, your parents, your family, I don't care who the heck it is, if the whole world mocks you, you don't care. You don't give a flying banana, as they say, what other people say about you. Most people commit sins because they're afraid of what other people might say. Now, when you make that genuine commitment, like I said, and the way I said it, I will be a person who emulates Fatima Zahra, Imam Ali, no matter who mocks me, no matter who says what. Once you make that pledge tonight, inshallah, and we're in a sacred place, it's a masjid, it's a gateway to the hereafter, the time, the place, everything is special. When you make the commitment, and here's the good news, the gates of Allah's mercy open in your face. Suddenly, what seemed challenging and difficult and even insurmountable will seem doable. Suddenly, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's backing comes and gives you what you need in terms of strength, in terms of courage, in terms of commitment to stick to the pledge that you made. Now, I'm not just bringing this from the back of my pocket. What this is based on the narrations of the Ahlul Bayt and the verses of the Quran. وَمَنْ أَرَادَ الْآخِرَةَ وَسَعَى لَهَا سَعْيَهَا وَهُوَ مُؤْمِنٌ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, he who wants the hereafter. You have that wish, you have that hope, you have that desire, but then you take it to the next level. What is it? وَسَعَى لَهَا سَعْيَهَا. And you exert the effort that it requires. So you make that intention, and then you do what it needs. The rest is up to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The hadith says, by the command of the faithful, if you can memorize this hadith, do so. One narration talks about those who memorize 40 ahadith. Allah will raise them on the day of judgment among the scholars, the jurists. So try and memorize these short, sweet hadith that you come across. This is one of them. Imam Ali says, the commander of the faithful, على قدر النية تكون من الله العطية. It rhymes, it's short, it's beautiful, and it's incredibly deep and insightful. What does the Imam say? على قدر النية. He says, how much of an intention can you muster up? What's the size of your commitment? Is it a tiny little dot that really isn't anything other than a wish? Or is it something substantial? على قدر النية, proportionate to the size of your commitment, تكون من الله العطية. The backing of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will be in proportion to the size of the commitment that you make. So if the commitment is big enough to be an actual commitment, to be a resolution, to be a pledge, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will then stick to his end of the bargain and give you the support that you need to keep on keeping on, as they say. That's one hadith. Another hadith by Imam Al-Modarresi, again, very to the point, if we like, spot on as far as the message of this lecture. The Imam says that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sees a slave or maid of his who is committed to being a better person. أَمَدَّهُ اللَّهُ بِالتَّوْفِيقِ. Allah will give him tawfiq. What tawfiq is, essentially, is that Allah creates the right set of circumstances. Right? He'll give you those nudges whenever you're in trouble, when you're having hardship, when you're being mocked or ridiculed. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will shield you from falling back into the trap of sin, from falling off the wagon. But you have to make a genuine commitment, brothers and sisters. And you make that commitment tonight. Do you know what kind of commitment I'm talking about? Let's be very specific. To commit, see if you can make this commitment. Just between yourself and you. I don't want to hear about it, no one else needs to know about this. Can you, here's your challenge for tonight, can you make a genuine, solid commitment tonight not to ever commit a single sin ever again? And I'm not talking about making a sin by accident or by mistake or when you don't know. No. When you know. Most of the time we know. We know exactly what we're getting into. Can you make the commitment tonight that you will never commit a single sin for the rest of your life? If you find yourself struggling with this question right now, can I know? Right? That's a symptom of what most people suffer from. Most of us fail in making a commitment, for crying out loud. We're not even talking about committing actual sins yet. Even the intention not to commit a sin, people falter. Most of us fail this very first initial screening test. And then we expect our lives to be all righteous, to be trouble-free. And then the first sign of trouble, and suddenly we're objecting to God's law and decree. The first sign of trouble, we suddenly find ourselves saying, oh God, why me? But you're not even willing to make a commitment. I'm not even willing to make a pledge to me, between me and God. You know what that's like? Let me tell you how horrible that is. If you're struggling with this question. It's like someone getting married to someone, and then you know how people, non-Muslims especially, in Islam, the pledges are very specific, right? In non-Muslim cultures, they have these vows, they exchange vows, right? Imagine if a husband says to his wife on the day of their marriage, as they're making the vows, that I will remain true and faithful to you if I can. I'm not so sure, listen, I'm not willing to commit just yet. I'll do my best. But, you know, you win some, you lose some, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. I could just fall right off the wagon sometimes. I've got that tendency. Which idiotic woman is going to marry this man? Or let's flip it over to the other side. Imagine the woman saying to the groom that I'll be faithful to you, right? As long as I can, right? I'll do my best, I'll exert my best effort. I'm not so sure it's going to work out, but you know what? Let's give it a shot. Is this a marriage that's going to work, in your opinion? Someone might say that they're being truthful to each other. Is that a union that could possibly, conceivably, conceptually work? It doesn't, right? A relationship that starts with a wobbly commitment is a relationship that's not even going to start. And that's the problem. Imagine, we're not husband and wife with a